The law says three. Go ahead. 3 people. I will refer to council as people.
Council.
I will refer to, but I am saying 3. That is the CEO.
CEO.
The mayor, mayoress, or chairman, as the case may be.
Mayor, mayoress, wala chairman.
Because some areas have chairman, like Brikama.
Area council am chairman, so set Brikama amna.
And council as a general body.
Council sipopam as a general body.
All of them have authority, should have authority for expenditure.
Nena nyeta yep wan nañ am warugal pour dépense. Muna def dépense.
Now the CEO reports to you.
Nena CEO mom CEO la mo report.
Now you report back to council which you head.
Nena yaw nga report back to council bi nga xamne yaw ya len jit.
The CEO does not have the full or absolute power to decide how much money goes in or goes out.
Nena CEO mom len amu dole pour muna bind wala wane nanga mo wara gena ci xaliss wala nanga mo wara duga ci xaliss.
Above the CEO there is the mayor or mayoress or chairman.
Nena wa ci kaw wala ci top ci kaw mayor CEO bi yaw ya fa nek yaay mayoress bi.
And above the mayor or mayoress or chairman, you have the council.
The mayor, mayoress, wala chairman, ya yore council.
Do we understand it that way?
Li council, hamga yow dafa melni loi bi nga ma wax.
I think council, you are just telling me exactly what the law says.
Fok na hit na loi bi tam mom lañ doon war di implement.
And I think the law have to be implemented.
Why council today do here nonu de?
But council, we don't operate like that.
Because the CEOs.
Because the CEOs.
Administration bi tamit dañ am ñoo xamne ñoo nekk ci seen gannaaw.
And the administration too, they have people behind them.
Man duma tok fi di la fenal.
I will not sit here and tell you lies.
Parce que fi ken joge wu fi dem ñu ray la.
And nobody left here and you are killed.
Why suma la ne mayor ci amuñ doole.
But if I say the mayors don't have powers.
Nangul mako rek.
Please believe me.
And why is that? I don't
na la fi ne la. Da nga binda ministry.
You write to the ministry.
They complain dara.
Just complaining for something.
You wax la carrément bu ñu bindaat.
And they will tell you directly, don't ever write to us.
It's only the CEO who have authority pour binda ñu.
It's only the CEO who have the authority to write to us.
So there are a lot of frustration you have the money civil council bi.
There are a lot of frustration in council.
So I'm a CEO bo xamne amul xel.
If you have a CEO who don't have mind,
dina la relegate to 0.
He will relegate it 0 to you.
And li moy dëgg bi.
And this is the truth.
Motax ma bëgg appreciate ku ñëw fi.
This is why I appreciate, or I want to appreciate whoever come here.
Waxal sa digante ak Yalla rek pour ñu mëna jagar council ci mu baax.
You explain the truth between yourself and God so that we can be able to maintenance the council to good standard.
Why su dé dëgg rek mo am.
But if at all the truth is the one that is prevailing,
mayors fi am doole.
The mayors here
at least Banjul City Council. Let me say this very clear.
Let me be specific. Is Banjul City Council mayors here have no powers.
So I understand the frustration that council will have generally.
Then I yegna frustration bi nga xamne council daf ko de am wala de am nañ ko generally
with ministry.
Si ministry.
We have dealt with this in the beginning. The permanent secretary was here.
We have
told the permanent secretary where they have fault. In fact, so many. So we agree with you. To a large extent. Based on subject matter. And that is the more reason why it is important, like you said, to see wherever fault lies, we will find out. And hopefully, the commissioners will make recommendations. And that is why we thank you for your honesty. And your time and interest in this. so that we also help each other to know the subject matter we are talking about.
nee na ñun li moo tax ñu dal di try pour mun a xam subject wala loolu li nga xam ne loolu lañ nekk di wax.
Because when it comes to finance,
nee na because soo demee si biir finance mooy xaalis.
you have technically absolute control over your finance.
nee na am nga technical absolute control loolu mooy yow sa boppa si finance bi nga xam ne boobu ngeen amee.
Council decide how their finances are disbursed.
nee na council ñoom day
Expended.
waxtaan ñu dal di tëral yoon wi nga xam ne seen finance noonu lañ ko war a dépenser.
And this, of course, will be in line with regulations.
nee na te lii foog na ne wala dafa war sax mu dal di ànd ak luwaay nga xam ne yooyu lañ tëral.
But your contracts, who you pay, how you pay them, the only person that you have to be answerable to is the regulations that are governing you.
nee na ak koo xam ne contrat si nga xam ne dañ ko ndee fay léeg-léeg ngeen fay ko nee na waaye loolu lu la war a jàppale si loolu wala li nga war a toppa mooy luwaay nga xam ne yooyu mu la wër.
Do you understand that?
nee na leer na.
Okay.
very well.
Exactly. So that the ministry cannot,
nee na ci kaw loolu da ngaa gis ne ministre bi ñu na
to a large extent as well,
nee na duñu mën a def loo xam ne
dictate to you your daily expenditure.
pour ñu yëgal la wala wax la yow di nga war a defee sa dépense wala di nga war a dépenser.
But of course, you will be audited periodically.
nee na waaye da ngaa gis ne yow moom da war a di audit at jamono bu nekk.
Do we understand?
nee na leer na.
Okay.
yes.
So authority for expenditure only rests squarely on three tiers: the CEO, mayor, mayoress, or chairperson, and the council.
nee na wax na ko nee na dépense bi soo seetee ñetti xeer yooyu yi nga xam ne yow lam lay wax CEO mayor wala mayoress ak chairperson.
So what will be the difficulty in this?
nee na kon ban xare wala difficulty ngeen war a am si lii.
waaye wax naa la ko ma ne la yow yaa ngi quote from luwa bi.
As I said to you that you are quoting from the law.
waaye council dafa am beneen luwa bu nekkut luwa bi nga xam ne moom lañ binda teg ko si book bi.
But we have another law at council of which is written and is laid on top of the table.
te lead council suñ defee 1 million times commission.
And council, if we do commission for up to 1 million times.
te regularize suñ ku nekk sa doole ak sa fan nga war a
And they don't regularize the authorities or the powers for each where to start or where to stop.
dinañ amaat yeneen commission.
We'll have another commission.
and I wish the commission bi dafa demoon ñu backdate ko 5 years ago before ñun suñ time.
And I wish this commission should be backdated for 5 years before our time.
so kon dinañ doon appreciate council si léegi.
Then there, the commission itself will appreciate councils the way they are working.
a typical example yaa ngi wax ne mayor bi dafa war a xam everything loo xam ne moo dee dox.
For instance, the example is that you have said that the mayor must be aware of whatever is going on.
And again, I want to underline ne li ma wax fii yëpp maa ngi wax in the context of Banjul City Council.
And as I said, I am specific. Whatever I'm saying here, I'm just talking through the context of Banjul City Council.
Man gis naa fi ñaata witness over 20 witness yoo xam ne toog nañ fii.
I saw people who passed here before me. There are witnesses, more than 20 of them.
They were about the EU project of Banjul City Council.
And they were explaining about the EU project at the Banjul City Council.
te man si City Council musuma ko xam musuma ko yëg musuma leen a gis xaw ma ci kenn fii laa leen gisee ñu toog.
And I am at the City Council. I don't know them. I have never met them. I only saw them sitting here before the commission.
All right. We will of course reach to the EU project.
Nena muso wala dañ fa jaar te dañ fa aga ci EU project bi.
And again, we will know. We will try to find out. We will try to find out
Ne te nañ def seen gestu pour mëna xam.
The level of knowledge that each of the players have.
Nena xam-xam bi nga xam ne wala yëg bi nga xam ne ku nekk ku bokk xam-xam bi nga xam ci mbir mi.
But the issue regarding the problems of, like you said, I quote the law, which I only have to.
Nena wa société comme wax nga fi ne mom lu moy wax ci loi bi la ko tané wala fofu la mo wane na waaw te mom dafa war pour def lolu.
And you were trying to tell the commission that there are problems that you face in relation to what actually obtains on the ground.
Nena te yow wax nga fi ne am nga tété yi nga xam ne yu dé xew ci ron.
So for instance, when the Local Government Finance and Audit Act 2004, section 12
nena soko sete Local Government Act Section 12, 2004 Section
Local
12.
Government Finance and Audit Act,
Nena Finance and Audit Act
2004,
2004
Section 12,
Section 12.
we talked about financial autonomy of councils.
Nena lolu wax na ne affaire financial autonomy of council moy pour ngeen taxaw sen bopa ci mbiri xaliss.
Which reads, subject to the provisions of this act
Nena te lu mu janga moy loi bobu non bi nga xamne tek nañ ko
and any other act,
ak benen loi bu boka wala bu anda bi.
each council has autonomy over its financial matters.
Nena council bu neka amna taxaw na bopam pour mbiri nga xamne dépense wala xaliss bi nga xamne bobu la day liggéey fofu.
Excluding salaries,
Nena bokut salary bokut e moy fay bi bobu bokut
allowances,
allowance bokut
and emoluments.
ak emoluments yoy bokut.
So apart from these three,
Nena ñeta yoy nga xamne bokut
you can say have absolute control.
nena yoy council mu na wax legi mom am nañu warugal pour control.
You're paying a contractor $1 million.
Nena soy fay contractor $1 million.
You just have to follow the procurement regulations.
Nena lu war moy pour nga topa procurement regulation.
And then you pay in the right manner.
Te da nga wara fay mu waré.
You don't have to take any permission from ministry.
Nena wallo jël ben permission ci ministry.
If you want to deal with a vendor
Nena so buge ab dealings ak vendor moy jaay kat yi.
on a daily basis,
Ne bes bu nekk
you follow the procurement regulations.
nena nga topa procurement sen regulation.
You don't have to take any 1% or 0.5% permission from ministry.
Nena te fofa warlo am wala warlo am ben permission ci ministry.
So have you ever had a problem? Have you ever had problem
Nena nda yow sa bopa mus nga am problème.
in relation to, what I mean you is council,
Nena suda yow moy council sen area council.
in relation to expenditure,
Nena lu boka wala lu anda lu melni dépense
where it is not within the areas of salary or allowance or emoluments.
nona li nga xamne boko tak ñeta yi moy wa salary allowance wala emoluments.
Did ministry ever interfere with this, with your daily expenditure?
Nena nda ministry mu mus nañ la interfere wala dugal sen loxo ci dépense bi.
yëguma ko parce que man duma dee deal ak yooyu.
No, I'm not aware because I don't have any dealings with that.
Exactly. So that is why I said
Nena li mo tax mo ne
this is squarely on the council itself.
nena lolu dafa teggu ci council ci bopam.
Entirely.
Nena yépp ci council bi loxo council la nek.
Do you agree with?
Nena nango nga lolu.
waaw.
Yes.
Now, this is particularly important
Nena li dafa nek lo xamne dafa am fayda lol.
because so many payments have been made,
Nena am na fay yu nga xamne bari nañ fay ngeen ko def ngeen ko.
which appears to not follow,
Nena te soko sété yoyu andut ak
not andut, dafa melni andut, appears to have not followed
nena dafa melni andut
with due process.
ak yoon bi nga xamne yoon bu teggu.
By due process, I mean the financial manual,
Nena so na due process moy topa financial manual bi.
the Finance and Audit Act,
Financial Audit Act
and the list goes on.
te lolu muy topante.
Now, what are the mechanisms that you have in council
Nena kon yen council ban mechanics ngeen am yi nga xamne yoy ngeen tetal fofu mechanisms
to monitor
pour ngeen mëna sét ne monitor bi
the accounts of council,
moy sen compte bi moy compte council
expenditure
moy dépense
of council.
council.
comme ni ma ko waxee woon rek man I rely entirely on the CEO.
As I said earlier on, I rely entirely on the CEO
pour mu wax ma upgrade ma on council's accounts.
to upgrade me on council's account
And to advise me the way forward.
and to advise me the way forward.
Would you know?
For example,
please proceed. Please proceed.
For example, so nit ñëwee ut si sponsorship, for example, scholarship.
For example, if somebody appear to look for a scholarship,
Dinaa ko oo
I will call him
ma wax ko jox ko paper bi,
and inform him, and I gave him the paper,
and then he will advise me.
and there he will advise me.
Su fekkee ne budget bi mu ngi fa,
If the budget is already there,
ñu proceed.
then we proceed.
Now, The CEO,
nena legi CEO bi
as we have discussed,
li nga xam ne wax nañ biram
is below the hierarchy. It's down at the hierarchy in relation to having powers for monetary threshold.
nena soko seete moom nekk na loo xam ne dafa néew doole pour mun a taxaw lu ñuy wax si place bi nga xam ne threshold wone.
Is it because council did not know that there should be a check and balance in relation to what the CEO approves or not?
ana council wala xamuñ ne am na loo xam ne wala dafa war pour ngeen war a check li nga xam ne council bi mooy balance li nga xam ne CEO bi daf ko tegal da ngeen ko war a seet bu baax.
Going by the regulation for authority for expenditure.
nee na soo toppee loi bi nga xam ne dafa tegu pour doole bi nga xam ne boobu la joxe pour mbiri dépense.
Because it appears as if council did not know
nee na because soo ko seetee dafa mel ni council yëg leen loolu.
that there should be this regulation
nee na waaye dafa war loi bi dafa war a tegu foofu.
to monitor expenditure.
pour nga gis ne loolu mun a monitor expenditure bi.
nekkul ne xamuñ ko de.
It doesn't mean that we don't know about it.
Because wax naa la ko ma ne la bind naa du benn yoon du ñaari yoon même.
As I told you that I wrote a memo more than twice.
Because this should come from council.
Then because li si council la wara bayeko.
So number one, we will even apply that you produced the letters that you have written to CEO.
Then legi sa lu ñu def fi moy mën nañ apply pour nga gis ne memo yoy nga bind ci CEO nga dal di ko ici.
Can you do that?
Na ma mën nga def lolu.
Please write it down.
Nena mën nga ko bind pour nga baña faté.
Thank you. So why I said that is because the same law that provides for the authority for expenditure, section 305 of the financial manual. Section 306 states. Same thing, monetary thresholds in emergency cases as well.
Monetary thresholds
that council should approve. The same with the authority for expenditure, council should approve. So not the chairman or the mayor or the mayoress. There should be a resolution. From council to say that CEO up to $100,000, you cannot go beyond this.
CEO after 100,000
after $100,000, you must seek for clearance. You must consult the mayoress as the case is in Banjul.
The
same resolution should also state that mayoress, you cannot approve payments beyond $500,000. If it exceeds this, you must bring it to council. So, if the council did not pass that resolution, it's two things. It's either council did not know, or they knew but failed to do that. Do you understand?
Munna remember being a time you know affair the CEO worked to spend more than 500,000.
I can remember there was a time that it was said that the CEO cannot expend more than an amount of 500,000.
Why I can't remember any time when the decision.
But I cannot remember any time that the decision was
taken in council.
A decision was taken in council.
pour wane ne dañoo am ceiling.
To show that we need to have a ceiling.
Waaye leena tamit moom laa bëgg a wax fii.
But one thing I want to make it clear here,
soo seetee the spending of Banjul City Council.
if you check the expenditure of Banjul City Council.
Banjul City Council dafa nekk council boo xam ne financial muscle sami.
But Banjul City Council is a council which you know that the financial muscles.
Xëj na soo seetee within 8 years.
If you check about 8 years ago.
Within 8 years.
If you check about 8 years, within 8 years.
Lu ñoo spend 500,000.
What you spend, the amount you spend for 500,000.
Above 500,000.
Or above 500,000.
Benn yoon one off. 500,000.
It's only one time.
No. Bu ñoo spend one of 500,000.
Or when we spend the 500,000.
Soo ko seetloo the 8 years yu ma fa nekk.
And if you check the 8 years while I was serving.
Su baree ba bari to pass 5, 6, 7 times.
If at all, if you count it, it will be less than 6 to 7 times.
Because council bu ndaw la.
Because it's a small council.
Xaalisam tolluwut noonu.
And the monies or the finance is not very much.
Xëj na moom fu mu dooree di amee spending bu bari.
Because where we started doing much expenditure.
Mooy si EU project.
That is when we get into the EU project.
Waaye pour mu génnee 500,000 léegi jënd dara.
But to pull out 500,000 to say we are going to buy something.
Mënuma ko remember lu passé juróomi yoon ba juróom benn yoon.
I cannot remember that more than 5 to 6 times.
You mean individuals isolated cases of expenditure or the yearly expenditure?
Then allow me come yen sen dépense bi wala at bi yépp.
Suñ lan.
Nena lu mo laajte di dépense boobu nga wax 500,000 bi nena dafa nekk loo xam te dégg ko dépense pour at bi yépp la wala.
No. Pour comme benn yoon one off ñu jënd dara.
No, it's just once. Okay, so just for instance to buy something.
Let's say for instance you want to purchase furniture.
Nena dafa mel ni léegi dañ jël examples comme nga bëgg a jënd ay bagages néeg.
Yes, but what would be very ideal in this circumstance is the overall expenditure in the given year. Is the overall expenditure in a given year.
Nena léegi mu set na loolu dafa nekk loo xam ne dépense bi nga xam ne yëpp pour at bi la.
Waaw lu nga wax dëgg la dama la bëgg a woon rek ne la.
Yes, because what I said is true.
Yaa ngi wane xëj na council si xamuñ.
As you said, that might be council. We are not aware.
Xëj na soo toogee gis ne defuñu xëj na silin ne si yow na su spendé 500,000 da ko wax council.
As I said, because there are nothing like a ceiling of which if the CEO is to spend more than 500,000, you need to inform council.
Xëj na loolu dafa ñëw benn yoon o ñaari yoon si at bi.
I know maybe that comes once or twice in the year.
No, that will only be an example.
Nena loolu mun na nekk example.
You can even say that $50,000 is it has to be cleared by the mayors.
Nena mun nga wane comme for instance 50,000 boobu war na ko clear si mayor.
Even $10,000 is.
Su nekkee 10,000 sax.
Depending on what the council decides, you know your budget, you know your income at the end of the year, realistically, you know how much money you generate, so you can decide based on that.
Nena loolu mun na nekk sa xalaat parce que yow sa boppa yaa xam ñaata nga denca wala loo am si xaalis ñaata nga jéene si xaalis wala loolu ñaata fa nekk.
So I was just giving an example.
Nena loolu moom just example la rek.
Of the idea that you should have the threshold.
Nena pour wane ne yow dafa war pour nga am threshold.
Now back to my question.
Nena soo deelee si laajte bi.
Did council know about this authority for expenditure?
Nena ndaa council yëg nañ autorité bi pour mbiri dépense loi bu tegu.
Or that they do not know?
Wala ñaaral bi ndaa yëgu leen ko xamu leen ko.
Councillors dinañ ko xam because we have seasoned councillors yoo xam ne ñu ngi fa woon balaa council bi sax.
Council are aware, and I see that there are councils who are there before these people.
So the lack of, in the absence of issuing a person a resolution for the adherence to the authority for expenditure, will that be deliberate then?
Nena kon pour nga gis ne jox leen resolution bi nga xam ne wala jox leen ko xam ne kooku moo war pour def dépense mu ñaaka ko kon loolu dafa mel ni du def leen seen warugal wala seen yoon.
How ma lan moo nekk seen mind si at that time.
I don't know what was in their mind at that time.
waaye wax naa leen ne man si suma bopp jëloon naa jéego.
But as I said, as myself, I have taken action.
Ma binda.
Wrote.
te du benn yoon du ñaari yoon.
And it's not one, not twice,
waaye wokkut.
but it doesn't work.
But on your side, yes. But on council's side, it can only be deliberate because you've already told us that they knew that they had this authority to put the ceiling. They never put the ceiling. It's a failure on council's side.
And I see how sa bopa wow tegala lolu mom def nga sawargal nena wa société pour council dem nañ ko yow sa bopa wax nga ne yegg nañ ko te defuñ ko nena ko lolu dafa nek lo xamne dafa manché lool ci liggéey bi
wa buñ téla wax ne jëliñ ko mun na am tamit mun na mus dañ ko wax ma faté.
If I say that, probably they have ever told me and I forgot.
So you said you demand back some minutes, right?
No, we have to go back to the minutes.
So the issue is, if they've ever passed a resolution like that, we have interviewed the CEO. We don't even see a council generally that would adhere to this regulation.
Nena so fekk na resolution dañ ko pass nena war nañ fi ak CEO bi nena waaye dara wone te council yi sa am na ñoo xam ne sa definitely resolution bi dañ ko tegu ci kaw seen kanam.
Some have it as a matter of practice.
Nena am na ñoo xam ne dañ ko am as a matter of practice.
Like for instance, in KMC.
Nena waaye soo ko seetee KMC.
Some will say that if we need to make a payment up to $100,000.
am na ñoo xam ne dañ dee wax ne suñu bëggee def fay bu dem ba $100,000.
You must consult the Lord Mayor Talib Ahmed Bensouda.
Nena fokk ñu consult Lord Mayor Bensouda.
One or two will say it is $200,000.
am na ñoo xam ne dañoo wax ne $200,000.
Some will give you a different figure.
am na ñoo xam ne tamit dañ lay di jox njëg bi nga xam ne bokkut.
They don't have a resolution.
Nena amuñu resolution.
At least we haven't seen it.
because gisuñu ko.
They didn't produce it.
Nena mosuñu ko wane fii.
But at least they will tend to have that practice in council.
Nena waaye ñooñu dañu wane ne am nañ practice boobu si council.
Again, my opinion is
Nena ñaaral bi si xalaatam bi mooy.
it will even be wrong for them, KMC,
Nena da nga gis ne KMC loolu sax dafa nekk yoon boo xam ne jubut
to even have the practice
pour practice bi.
and not have the resolution to
te
practice.
amuñu resolution bi.
But I'm just saying that is how, like you were saying, sometimes the actual operations of council is different from what the law says.
Nena te loolu soo ko seetee mu ngi la bantuwaat comme yow wax nga ko fii ne am na doxal bi nga xam ne da ngeen ko dee doxal dafa àndut ak resolution si.
And we want to know why.
Nena te dañ bëgg a xam lan la mën a tax loolu.
And you've helped us to say
Nena te yow da nga ñu jàppale nga dal ñu leeral ne.
that you've helped us. You helped the commission to state
Nena da nga ñu jàppale commission bi ñu dal di state ne.
that, for instance, BCC, you don't have that.
Nena BCC wax nga ne yéen am leen ko.
And then the General Council is very, to be honest, it is very, let me say, acute with experienced councillors, so they must be in the position to know.
Nena te General Council am na ñoo xam ne ñoom am nañ xam-xam lu mel ni loolu te ñoom tamit am nañ dañu war pour xam ko.
That's why I said if they didn't do it, then it's deliberate.
Nena lii moo tax mu ne su fekkee ne defuñu ko wala defuñu ko kon dafa mel ni dañu ko tey.
Do you understand?
Nena nangu nga loolu.
Wow. And
Yes.
lead council foog naa bëgg naa pour nga understand leena tamit.
And lead council, I want you to understand one thing.
Banjul City Council is very, very different from other councils.
Banjul City Council is very, very different from other councils.
ñun bu ñoo ñëw si council bi.
When we are coming to council,
benn page of handing over sax loo xam ne moo ñoo direct amuñ ko.
we don't even have a single page of handing over.
And most of us were new.
And most of us, we were new.
So luñ starté yëpp di ko doon def.
All what we started doing,
mun nga xëy na soo ko seetee 90% of liñ doon def yëpp xëy na dafa wrong.
and if you check, probably all the 90% of what we have done was wrong.
liñ doon demee rek mooy.
Was the way we were moving or doing things were.
nii la ko ñii doon defee nii la ko ñii doon defee.
As okay, these people were doing it like this, so let us follow it. Or that is how they were doing it. That is how we were doing.
loolu moom dëgg la mu fa woon.
That is true. That was happening there.
so xëy na loolu yëpp moo indi tamit.
And I think all that is the cause of.
because we are more into nii lañ ko doon defee than even luwaa bi lu wax.
As I said, we follow the people who were saying, oh, we do as they were doing it like that, differently from what the law says.
because soo bëggee dem too much si luwaa bi tam.
Because if you want to follow the law too much,
di nga am blockage feneen.
you'll have a blockage somewhere around.
No, you will not have a blockage.
No, don't have blockage.
The law will give you, if you follow it.
Then the law is so called proper.
It's not perfect.
nee na du perfect.
It's not perfect.
nee na nekka loolu xam ne jubut is not perfect.
In fact, it has so many areas that need to be reviewed and amended.
nee na am na ay place yoo xam ne dañ ko war a wécci am na yoo xam ne dañ ko war a seet bu baax.
Even perhaps to help you in administration on a daily basis.
nee na pour nga gis ne ñu jàppale leen si administration bi ngeen nekka bés bu nekka.
But it's more perfect than not having or following regulations.
nee na waaye soo seetee perfect bi fa nekka nee na nekka na ñoo xam ne lu bëri duñ toppa regulation si.
No, it's better than not having or not following the structure, not following the law.
nee na dafa mel ni loolu dafa ñaaw pour nga gis ne loi bi li mu tegee topp leen ko comme nu mu waree.
No.
Understand naa li nga wax.
Yes.
Very well.
Yes. So.
waaye man tam dama bëgg nga xam ne.
Yes, I still understood very well what you are trying to say, but now I still want you to understand that
man maa toog si position boobu.
I am the one sitting on that position.
te waatal naa la si yàlla ne amul lu maa toog fii.
And I took out here, I don't want to sit here and
ma def ko ba pare di si deli naan la déedéet baale ne rus naa loolu sax.
now I'll be very shameful to do that, and later on trying to make, I'll be very ashamed to do that here.
waaye dégg naa yu bari.
But I had a lot.
yoo xam ne wax dëgg yàlla yëguma ko sax.
You know, truly speaking, I was not even aware of that.
waaye li ma si jàngee rek mooy soo jiitoo yéen ay da nga ko war a nangu.
But as I said, what you learn as a leader, some of things you need to know.
waaye su ma ko nangoo ba pare tamit dinañ ko leeral.
If you agree and you need to make it clear.
for the interest of ki nga xam ne mooy ñëw ëllëg.
For the interest of the person coming tomorrow.
ak for the interest of accountability and transparency.
And that is accountability and transparency.
soo toogut ci suma position.
If you don't sit at my position,
li ma wax doo ko xam.
what I'm saying you will not understand.
li ma la bëgg a wax rek mooy ne.
What I want to tell you is that
the system is polluted.
the system is polluted.
waaye soo toogut man ci suma man laa wax de waxuma yeneen council de.
I'm not talking about other councils. I am specifically on my own council.
doo ko xam.
You will not know.
yu bari xew na.
A lot of things happened.
waaye si kanam xëj na yooyu yëpp dina feeñ.
But later I think all those things will be revealed.
si nga understand.
That is where you should understand. Or you will understand.
lan laa xam ak lan laa xamut.
What I know and what I don't.
waaye dinaa la wax ne respect bu ma amal this commission.
What I want to assure you that the respect that I have for this commission.
ak appreciate bu ma appreciate commission bi.
And the appreciation that I have for this commission.
because commission bi dafa mel dafa ñëw man pour defar suma legacy.
That I will hide.
déedéet.
No.
Again.
métti.
And however difficult it is.
dinaa la wax ne nii la demee.
I will tell you this is how it happens.
because dégg naa fi yu bari.
Because I had a lot hearing.
ma xam ne loolu dimbalewut commission bi.
And I know that does not help the commission.
Again, thank you very much. Again, this is the intention of the commission. You are very right. It's not easy to be a leader. It's more or less to be the leader of a whole jurisdiction, of a whole area council or city council.
City council or area council.
It's very, very difficult. And so we know, even if we're not there, we understand how difficult it is. And more so, to answer to the public regarding how the administration of the area council was done. To even willingly come, participated to help give information. It's also commendable no matter how difficult it is. It is noted. So back to the issue, what I was discussing with you is that there are so many payments that councils will engage on. In this case, BCC. That will appear to not be in line with regulation. Now, we had talked about the financial manual.
The
Finance and Audit Act.
Financial Audit Act.
Finance and Audit Act for local government area councils.
For local government area councils.
The Local Government Act.
The Local Government Act.
Procurement regulations.
procurement regulations.
Does council follow all this
Na council ba daf de topal way yep lu la lemal ni
in deciding which dalasi goes to where or how the monies of council are spent?
na ci bir nga amne moy xaliss ko par bi ngeen amne council naka ngeen koy dépenser.
Loolu nekkul suma liggéey.
That is not my job.
Administration ñoo dee def loolu.
The administration used to do that.
Waaye dama rafet njort ne.
But I think so for them to
ñu ngi ko doon def niñ ko
They were
war nim correcté.
they were doing accordingly.
Parce que léegi-léegi ma gis ay kayit yoo xam ne.
Because sometimes I do see some documents.
ñu ne GPPA la jógee.
They said those documents are from the GPPA.
Su nit ñëwee for example bugga dara like for example gamo am.
When somebody came and needed something, for instance, a gamo happened,
Mbaa cooj bi xewle dara.
or church we need something.
Su ñëwee ma minute ko.
When they came, I minute that.
Dama ko minute mu dem si CEO bi.
I minute it, and after it passes to the CEO.
Waaye pour man.
For me,
because all those line of expenditure boobu noonu.
all those lines of expenditure,
They are all budgeted for.
they are all budgeted for.
Because am nañ religious budget.
Because we have religious budget,
Am nañ culture.
we have culture,
etc. and so forth.
etc. and so forth.
So su scholarship amee.
So when it happens, scholarship had,
Ma minute ko jox ko.
I minute and give it to him.
Pour man foofu la ko jëlee si budget boobu noonu.
Well, for me, I think thinking that he will get it from the said budget.
So foog naa ne tamit ne procedures yi they were going on.
And I thought that all the procedures were going on
rightly.
rightly.
The Lord Mayoress, it is your job. It is job of council. In fact, the law makes it your job and the job of council. In fact, the CEO is answerable to council. Let me read to you administrative structure of council.
Administrative structure
Of council. The Local Government Act.
Council, Local Government Act.
Says the chief executive, section 42 sub 1.
Chief executive, subsection 1.
42 sub 1.
42 sub 1.
There shall be a chief executive for each council whose office shall be an office in local government service and shall, subject to the provisions of this act, be subject to terms and conditions which may be prescribed. 2, a chief executive shall be appointed by local government service commission after consultation with the chairperson, who may attend all proceedings and deliberations of the commission when considering the appointment of a chief executive. 3, the applications for the office of the chief executive shall be submitted to council for its prior comments, and you have functions of the chief executive. 3 sub 1, the chief executive shall manage the affairs of the council and shall be answerable to the council and be subject to its direction and control. Sub 2 says, a chief executive shall, in the exercise of his or her functions, report to the chairperson. Do you see this?
Wow.
Yes. So it is the responsibility of council and the responsibility of the chairperson, as the case may be, the mayor, as the case may be, or the mayor, as the case may be.
The responsible council, mayoress, mayor, chairperson.
The chief executive is not working in isolation.
He is
not the most powerful in council. Council is the most powerful, then the mayor or mayoress, then the chief executive. Do you understand that?
I totally agree.
I totally agree.
Exactly.
But I think you too will agree that.
Council every month, they talk, for example.
Council every month we used to have sittings once.
The CEO and mayor be bokuñ yoon.
The CEO and the mayor, they are not of the same way.
Even though law bi wax na ne dafa wara answerable to mayor bi.
Then, as the law said, he is answerable to the mayor.
Why going back to lima la waxon ci njëlbeen.
But going back to what I have told the commission before.
Lim ma wax rek laa mën a xam.
Whatever he told me is what I am aware.
Lum ma waxut mënuma koo xam.
Whatever he don't inform me, I cannot be able to.
The structure of council ni mu demee.
And the structure of council.
luñ bugg ma xam laay xam luñ buggul ma xam mënuma mus wa ka waane ba xam ko.
Whatever they want me to know, I will know. But if something that they don't want to know me to know, I will never know.
No, let me assist you in that. Okay?
Nena mu jàppale la si loolu.
If you have the right structures,
Nena soo fekkee ne da ngeen bind structures.
there is no way
Nena amut benn yoon.
that anything will happen
loo xam ne xewoon na foofu.
in your backyard
si sa biir mbir mi.
without you knowing.
te yow yëguloo ko.
It's like a family.
ne dafa mel ni family.
It's like the father and the mother.
ne dafa mel ni baay ak yaay.
You have to know.
war nga xam.
You must know.
te yow da nga war pour xam.
Maybe not 100%.
nee na mun naa ne nga du 100%.
That is why you will be aided by other institutions like National Audit.
nee na lii moo tax dañ la war a jàppale di aider loo xam ne dafa nekk yeneen institution lu mel ni audit.
You will be helped by internal audit.
nee na internal audit dañ lay jàppale.
You will be assisted by procurement.
nee na procurement tamit dañ lay jàppale.
These are independent institutions within or outside the area councils.
nee na lii nekk na ay institution yi nga xam ne ñu ngi taxaw seen boppa wala daa ñu ngi si biir area council wala ñu ngi si biti.
That will help council.
nee na loolu dina jàppale council.
Any council.
council bu nekk.
The CEO wants to hold information, wants to not transmit certain information.
nee na CEO su fekkee ne bëggut laa jox wala bëggut laa yëgal lu xew.
At the end of the year,
nee na su at bi jeexee.
every quarter,
nee na quota bu nekk.
there should be reporting mechanisms.
nee na da nga gis ne am na ay xibaar ay reporting mechanism yi.
You have committees of council.
am nga committees council committees.
If they are effective,
nee na su fekkee ne ñoom dañu nekk council bu effective.
you will at least have 70% of information you need to have.
da nga gis ne xibaar yu bëri yi nga xam ne da nga ko soxla pour am ko wala yegg ko da nga ko jot.
Do you understand?
nee na dégg nga loolu.
Lead council.
yes lead council.
wallaay ni nga ko waxee dafa yomb torop.
as you said, as you are saying, it is very simple.
And trust me, that's how it's supposed to be there.
te ni nga ko waxee noonu.
And as you said,
noonu la war a nekkee.
that is how it should.
waaye xam nga yow yaa ngi ko waxee ci biir buggi luwaa.
But as far as you are changing it too from the law.
so nga fàttaliku ne.
And you remember that.
CEO bi ak ay ngoñam.
CEO have his own side.
xam nañ si seen bopp bi ne.
And they know very well that.
ne mayor bi yóbbuwut leen fa.
And the mayor does not bring them there.
xam nañ ne mayor bi mënul leen a daaxa.
And they know that the mayor cannot be able to.
xam nañ ne mayor bi mënul leen a suspend.
And they know that I cannot suspend them.
xam nañ ne mayor bi mënul leen a wax ne seen bët baa ngi xonxa.
And the mayor cannot tell them that your eyes are red.
so yaa ngi try pour waxal ma luwaa.
So I know you are trying to tell me about the law.
man tam maa ngi try pour wax la li ma dunda.
And I'm too trying to tell you how I survive.
te foog ñëwuñ si ñu tase.
Unless we come, we all met.
council si du musa baax.
Councils will never be good.
All right.
man dama dee tukki ak suma colleagues yi.
I used to travel with my colleagues,
dama leen dee ñëwee.
but I used to.
because ñooñu ñoo dee indi seen
It's
CEOs.
time for break. Let me just respectfully cut you short. I will chairperson. It's time for break. I've been informed by the registrar. It is time. When we are back, the chair will ask that you proceed.
Yes, we normally have a 30-minute recess. We will come back after 30 minutes. We may rise.
mun naa bàyyi lii fi.
sa am na ñoo xam ne sa definitely resolution bi dañ ko teew si kaw seen kanam.
Some have it as a matter of practice.
nee na am na ñoo xam ne dañ ko am as a matter of practice.
Like for instance, in KMC,
nee na waaye soo ko seetee KMC.
some will say that if we need to make a payment up to $100,000,
am na ñoo xam ne dañ dee wax ne